Hi, Gemini. This is your Astro-Wheel-of-the-Year for 2023. Sun, Moon, Rising. You can take what resonates and leave what doesn't for any of the placements that you have. Here we go. All right, so I've shuffled all my decks. I've laid out the cards and the houses. And I've flipped over the first pair of houses. And I've kind of taken a peek at your oracle cards and your animal totem cards. So this is what I'm getting for your general overview of the year. There is something that you are innately good at, that you are inclined to. It's something either you can do with your physical body, your hands. So we're talking a lot of different things. We're talking, because this is a general reading, it can have to do with anything to do with any kind of creating things with the body, through sound, through materials, through auditory expression, and verbal communication falls under that, especially because you're Gemini. You're an air sign. You rule over communication. So there is something, and getting more specific with this, there is something that you may produce or be able to do that you're instinctually drawn to or very talented at in a natural kind of way. It comes naturally to you that you are producing, and this could have to do with anything that produces sound. This is music. So example, dancing, because it's music and the body. So anything that's sound related and or auditory related and is something that you can do with your hands, very kind of depicted here. But there is something that you are passionate about, and you may not know it yet, or you will be understanding that. It might be something that you've never really thought of as being passionate about, but it's something that you are so good at, you don't even realize that it's a talent. Okay? This is going to be showing up for you this year, big time. Now, those of you who are carpenters, anybody who works with any kind of natural products in the from the earth to build anything. If you work on houses, if you're a roofer, there's so many different things this can fall under. But there's a lot of this energy here and being showing itself to me. Now, these might be very mundane. This might come through in a more not metaphysical necessarily, but like metaphorical kind of thing, where it could resonate in some other kind of way to you. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, okay? But I see you learning how to make this natural ability that you have, or natural talent, into something that is going to be a material manifestation. You are going to create something from this year that will play a big role in your 2023. Now, I'd like to think that it's more along the lines of something with the natural world, or like building homes, or any kind of home decor, or any kind of home related kind of work, and working on the home or building something at home, or you might be doing this talent at home or in a place that feels like home to you, or when you're doing it, it feels like you're at home within yourself. There's something here. This, if you haven't gotten clear on what it is yet, that's okay. It will probably have to do with something that your ancestors did, or your lineage, people in your lineage have done. And either historically, it might be have a spiritual kind of tint to it. It may have some sort of hereditary kind of genetic, predisposed, like, I just have this innate ability because my father was really good at it, or my father's father was really good at it, or my mother's mother. An aunt might share this talent with you. There's some sort of familial ties to this. Okay, so what I'd like to think is that you already know what this is, but you might be finding this within 2023. You might find out that you're actually good at something you didn't know you would be good at because you've never tried it before, but you have a natural talent for it. And like I said, it could be sound orientated, physical body. You're doing something with your physical body. So that can cover sports. It can cover all kinds of things. I'd like to think that it's along those lines, but if it fits in a different way for you, and you can click into that, because your lineage, where you came from, this also could be not just your physical ancestors, but your spiritual ones. So people that you are spiritually connected to from the other side, might have had this gift, and if you believe in reincarnation, you might have bumped into them and kind of learned this ability from them, or your spirit family. This is a trait that you all share. There's water here and air. So anything to do with music, like I said, anything to do with anything that's emotional. There's a Cancerian kind of vibe with the water here. Maternal, paternal, family, protection, homes. There's also like water carries memories, right? So there's memories from our past. You see the DNA here going around the elephant. There is something that you are genetically tied to that allows you to be able to pull from a spot within yourself to be able to produce something that will be very important within 2023. Now, getting moving, because these videos have been like an hour and a half plus, and I really can't do 2-hour videos every single time. So, your first house and your 7th house, we're going to start with the 2 houses at the same time. They oppose each other, so the energies push and pull and have a lot to do with one another. So your ascendant and your descendant, your physical body this year, your who you are at a core level, how you physically appear to others. There's going to be some confusion around something to do with, or an inability to see. It could mean literally that you need to get your eyes checked, because your ability to perceive information, this is your card here. The Lover's card is a card of Gemini. So it's about twins. It's about things that come in pairs, right? So we're talking about anything in your body that comes in pairs. So we're talking about the eyes, because the clouds has to do with visibility and invisibility, not being able to see clearly. So this, to me, being in the first house, is talking about your vision. How is your vision? I think that you should get that checked. If you have not been somebody who's ever had vision problems, you might notice that you're squinting more this year. You might notice that something is unclear with how you're seeing something as well. This could be a perception of something. It could have to do with love. It could have to do with love and relationships. You might be unclear about a person's character, or which person to choose. It seems like singlehood will be okay. You might be very confident in what you've established for yourself by yourself, and you might be kind of exploring your options in terms of maybe something to do with your physical body. Maybe it's shopping for things like clothes for the physical body. It could be health supplements, really kind of putting in that self care and indulging in that because you have your singularity. It's very interesting that the Lovers and the Nine of Pentacles are next to each other because they're very different. Nine of Pentacles is very, I'm okay being single. I'm okay enjoying what I've created in this world, and kind of basking in that by myself. I'm not lonely. I could share this abundance with someone else. Maybe that's like the only piece that would be missing from the puzzle if I cared to actually build the puzzle and finish it. But, maybe this is more of a complete picture for you. I don't think that, I think it's like a coin toss for you. I think that on one hand, you'd like a relationship. You might be a little bit muddled or confused about how to get one or who to have one with, but you're okay with enjoying the luxuries of life. And you might be kind of daydreaming and kind of thinking about what you want to do with your own physical body. So this could have to do with gym memberships. This could have to do with sports, what sports you want to play. This could have to do with what kind of tattoos do I want to put on me. We have Uranus here as well in the first house, and you're going to be very spontaneous. You're almost going to feel like jumping out of your shoes this year. You're going to have a lot of energy, Gemini. It's going to come in sporadically, so you might not be able to even, like, from day to day, you might be like shocked about all of a sudden you want to go off and do a road trip, or all of a sudden you want to go hang out with friends that you normally haven't hung out with forever. It's very sporadic energy. So your nervous system could be a little bit taxed. So that's what you want to make sure that you're checking how you're looking at things, your physical vision. You want to make sure that your nervous system is being taken care of and that you're not doing too much. You might find that you really are kind of all over the place, a little scattered this year. But it's also a rebellious planet, it's innovative. So you might be doing something kind of innovative with how you express yourself in the world. You might be feeling more comfortable doing like an alternative hairstyle, or wearing alternative kind of style clothing, or the newest fashion that's kind of out there, a little bit taboo, or I wouldn't even say taboo, I would say like almost alien. You might feel very unique this year, or you'll be presenting yourself in a unique way. And this is coming through, and this did come out in the same spot for, I believe, Aries or Taurus. Go check out those signs. They just got posted. So in relationships with others in your life, I feel like whatever confusion that you're having is kind of being either instigated or annoyed or tested by some relationships this year. It could be that you're feeling kind of confused about a love situation, and that's kind of draining you. And so you're having to like get clear and rationalize like what needs to be cut out. And it seems like there'll be some sort of business partnership or relationship having to do with work. So you could have a relationship at work that's been kind of, you're dating somebody at work and it's becoming a problem. Or you have somebody who's kind of doing some weeding at work and there's kind of a big change. I do have Venus here. So there's like this money and love energy. And I like her in the 7th house. She's happy in the 7th house. I do see you refining something or working on a skill here as well. So you might actually learn one of these skills that's your main focus of the year through a partner, through work. You might try something new at a new job and you end up finding out you're really good at it. You might meet a partner and they teach you something really important that's going to be a lifelong skill for you, that you're really innately good at. The relationship itself might not work out. I'm not saying it's going to or not going to. I'm just saying that that person will have had a big role in getting you to this point in your life where you learn this new or find out that you're really good at this talent. I do see you, there's something, he's very investigatory, right? He's very clear about what he knows. And he knows something is bothering him. So you'll figure out what the problems in your relationships of any kind and partnerships are, and you'll deal with them in a kind of a balanced, kind of harmonious way. You're going to come at it with charm. You're going to come at it with fair. Seventh house is Libra, right? So Venus in Libra is like, Venus is Libra's ruler. So she's very comfortable there. She's very good at, making sure everybody feels good and heard and everything. If this is about something to do with mental health as well, because we have the clouds here and we have the mouse here, and they're both speaking of like troubles and emotional struggles. And so anything to do with your emotional health, you're going to see being reflected or aggravated maybe by people around you. So you'll get clear on that, and there'll be a tower moment, and you'll probably just start to work on what's important to you or what you're trying to manifest in terms of finances and what you value personally, and kind of not giving other people the attention or giving them your energy as much. And that's totally fair. But you'll do it in a diplomatic way this year. All right, let's go on to the second house. And the sixth house. Oh, no. Oh no, my brain doesn't want to work today or not. I'm on my second cup of coffee. I'm never good until 2 cups. I don't know about you guys. I'm a coffee drinker. All right, Mars in the 8th. Ooh. Temperance in reverse. The 5 of Swords and the Bear. All right. Very interesting combo. Let's look over here. We have Mercury in the 2nd. That's your ruler. Mercury in the 2nd, the 10 of Wands, Judgment, the Star, and the Path. It seems like you're becoming aware of something new that you value, or you're becoming aware of what you truly value this year. It might be because it has something to do with all this. It may be triggered by an event that kind of breaks down within your relationship sector. Or things that you share with other people. It seems like there's going to be some sort of awareness of a choice or a path you can go down that will bring you great healing and great fulfillment, and wish fulfillment, okay? And this wish, this path, will kind of almost be a wake-up call. There is some sort of enlightenment or some sort of rebirth you'll be going through in terms of what you value and what you spend your finances on, and just where you place your priorities, okay? In terms of, personal values and finances. Also, food. It can literally have to do with food, because the Bear has to do with taking in, right? It's consumption, right? It's the path at which we consume things. So it can literally be like you're kind of now realizing that there's some sort of troubles that you've had or struggles that you've had. You've become aware of them, and now you're doing some healing on your food intake. Maybe this has to do with the confusion over that'll help your physical body. Okay, not saying it's the same for everybody, but it literally could be that sort of manifestation of I'm eating gluten. I've been eating gluten my whole life. I've always felt kind of crappy, but now it's gotten worse. Okay, so now it's worse, and I figured out what it is. I'm aware of it now. So you're being called to change. You're being called to like change and end the struggle that you've been going through, and you're going to do that, and you're going to heal yourself. This could be applied to any kind of thing that fits in the second house. So another thing, this could be a path and a choice of authority. So you could have some struggles with authority, because I see the bear card. Also, the bear is a lump sum of things. So it could be a lump sum of money because it lands in the 8th house, but it's some money that you got from somewhere, right? So a lump sum of money that you received, somebody else might have not been happy about that, vice versa. There is a winner and a loser, okay, in this situation. So there's a battle that takes place. This guy wins. He takes those guys' swords. They're crying about it. It's a new beginning, however. So it is something that's, I think, is positive for you. It's a spark of, it sparks you and inspires you to start something new. So the Temperance card in reverse says that there's a lack of balance, or there's more balance needed, or it's really putting an emphasis on having patience, taking your time to make sure everything blends and melds together and everything's in good timing, and that you're not overstressing any kind of emotional situations, and you are able to keep that peace and harmony in your existence, right? But then we have Mars, the planet of aggression and action. Your planet that would direct you in a certain area of your life and project you forward. And it's about what you want and what you desire. So you're going to be very me focused in 2023, even when it comes to situations where you share things with other people. So that's where the balance is going to need to come in, because you're going to be all fired up, and other people might feel like you're kind of trailblazing right over them, and not giving them, their due attention, or listening to hearing them out and what they want. The 8th house is also like, so it's finances, it's taxes, it's death, it's all those things. So there is something here about authority and a struggle with authority and somebody coming out on top. You might need to calm yourself down in any kind of monetarily related, I wouldn't say legal related, although that could be something that's annoying you. Okay, so it's like a nuisance, the mouse, and the bear is like a big lump sum of money. So there could be one relationship that you have had to deal with that's caused some kind of legal issue. I see you coming out on top. However, because you have the Star card here and the 5 of Swords, so the wishes come true. There is a defeat. You might feel kind of like, was it really worth it though, all this struggle? But it is asking you to keep an even temper and not lose your head in terms of any kind of legal situations or any kind of shared resources or finances with other people. Mars is really like a bulldozer. So, and you will be communicating very aggressively. That's another thing. So Mercury and Mars, that's you might want to temper how you speak, especially in kind of formal situations or situations where you have to share the spotlight or the stage with other people, because you want to make sure that everybody gets it. It's not a big deal if you're going to be in this fiery element. It's just when to burn up like the situation and when not to. Learning when it's appropriate. Also, be careful with authority, because we have here it's a choice of the authority. So, or the path to being an authority. So with authority comes responsibility, right? So we want to make sure that we're not being unfair or a tyrant. We might come off that way accidentally if we're not careful this year. All right, moving on to the third and the ninth house. Third house, Pluto, Queen of Cups, Five of Cups, Death card, Stork. Ninth house, Jupiter at home, Two of Cups, the Wheel, wonderful. Ooh, the Chariot. Oh my God, that's beautiful. I don't think I've ever seen a more lovely combination. Okay, so the third house, you're going to be taking some trips. You might be traveling. I definitely see travel here because I have the Stork. In the third house is trips around your neighborhood, so you'll be traveling more. You'll be making you'll be going up in places. You might be traveling more to a business that's on a higher floor during your year. You might find you're going to this place that's on the top floor for some reason. It's coming to me. An elevator also comes to me because it's a Stork. It's the Death card. It's going upward movement and change. So you're changing the floors. For some reason that's coming through in your vicinity, in your immediate environment. Pluto is with the Death card. Okay, so these are very similar energies. Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio, the modern ruler of Scorpio, and so we're thinking endings, right? We're thinking dying to be reborn again. We are thinking of transfiguration, transmutation. There's a transition here. So in your day-to-day life, you could be having a lot of great changes that are happening. There could be great changes with your siblings. I would like to think that they're for the better because the Stork is here, and the Stork is a very positive card. Changes for the better, moving upward. But then there's the Five of Cups, and this is the only thing that concerns me because Pluto is about power and control as well. It can be about the darker sides of things. And it seems like there's some grieving that's coming in from these changes, or at the same time that these changes are coming in. It's also how you're communicating. So you might be communicating more positively. You might be changing the way you communicate to be more uplifting. You might be consoling somebody and trying to uplift their spirits because they're grieving, are having a hard time. It could be a sibling. It could be a cousin. You're being their emotional support and like a nurturing figure in their life because they're going through something tough. And you're using your intuition to kind of navigate this situation in terms of their conflict of emotion, okay? So, but then I have on the opposite end, your higher learning, your like world travel, your philosophies and cultural house. And you have the Clover, which is like super lucky, and the Stork in the Clover is like winning the lottery. It's and next to the Bear it's a lump sum. So you very well could win something this year, at a gamble or at a raffle, or there's something here that you're going to benefit greatly from, and it's very lucky. A promotion, even to travel. You might get approved for a student exchange program that's like 1 in a million, and you get to go and experience this. The Chariot is a card of travel by car, by wheels, okay, or train. It's also a card of having the positive and negative aspects of something that are kind of creating that magnetic push and pull that are moving something forward. You ever see two magnets, like, and you can move them along and bounce them off of each other a little bit and they move forward? So it's taking the good, taking the bad, and using that to fuel you forward and what you've learned from those different aspects of yourself. It's having done the shadow work and seen the light and kind of taking the both of those and making something project forward. It's victory. And next to the clover, it's major victory, very lucky chances at winning something. The wheel is the world, right? Oh no, the Wheel of Fortune. Excuse me. Oh my goodness, I can barely speak. Let me get a drink of coffee. Ooh, I'm getting some good energy for you guys. So, the Wheel of Fortune. If you gamble, you may very well win, especially if you go somewhere else, like out of your normal sphere of where you normally hang out and go about your daily business. You will most likely win. And you could also go travel abroad and meet the love of your life, because I'm seeing the Two of Cups here and the Lovers. So maybe you've been confused about love and you're really not focused on that as in your own like idea of what's going on with you this year and what you want for yourself. However, if you do travel, you might meet somebody who's going to start off as something much more sweet and innocent and, not as serious of a relationship, but there's the potential here with the Lovers card. Okay, so it's the 1st and the 9th. It's a foreigner as well. You can meet a love that's from another place. So when you're traveling, might win that ticket or plan a trip with somebody, go to a casino and bump into the waitress, and it's the love of your life. Jupiter being there. This person will be very boisterous. They will be loud. They will like to laugh. They will be cultured. They will probably be like a wider framed person. I'm not saying that they'll be like obese or thin or whatever. I'm saying they're going to have a more rounded shape to them. They could be very broad shouldered. They could have a rounder face shape. There's something about that's coming through. They also could be very learned. They could be a Leo. All right. So I see there's like this great change in the day-to-day life and, your immediate environment and like where you go and visit, locations that you visit. So you could change up where you're living as well. I haven't pulled the 4th house yet, but it's almost like a change of scenery, needing a change of scenery because there might be some kind of grief that's gone on. Maybe you take a sibling or a cousin on a trip to kind of get them over the loss of a loved one or a lover that's, went astray or something. Or maybe you've been kind of depressed and you take a trip to kind of lift your spirits, and it ends up being really positive for you and kind of changing everything for you in a positive direction. All right. So 4th house. Sun. Lovely. The Six of Swords, the Eight of Wands in reverse again. It keeps coming up in reverse for everybody. I do flip the cards over too. The Empress and the Tower. Okay, and things are making more sense in the third house now. The 10th house, the Moon. The Two of Wands. The Four of Swords. The World again. Oh no, that was the Wheel, but still huge. Okay, and the Dog. And like I said, something about an elevator, something about a tall building, going up to the top floor of something. You might move this year and move into a building where you live on the top floor. That's what I'm thinking. It will be, you will have a focus on the beauty of your home in some way or shape or form. This could literally be where you find out that you're good at working with your hands or doing something that's, if you're of Asian descent, or especially like, I think it's, yeah, we'll say Asian. Anybody who practices feng shui, you know, any culture that practices something like feng shui, you might have some practice at that this year with your own new apartment on the top floor somewhere, or a house that has a steeple of some kind that you buy. And, you know, people might really see how beautiful and talented you are at it. Anyway, let's get back to this. So, Eight of Wands. So maybe things aren't going as fast as you would like in terms of moving things forward or upward with an organization of something to do with the home. So maybe you've contracted somebody and they're working on your home's aesthetics. And you might realize you have to move as well. And you kind of, there's like a movement of home this year that I definitely see coming. It might take a little longer to find the place or get set up, but once it is set up, it will be very pretty. It will have a lot of sunlight. It'll be higher up. You'll either be, your room will be higher up than it was before, or something like that. You might be moving to the city. That's another thing that could happen. Because I see here at the Five of Cups is she's out in a field, you know, there's not a building in sight. And then there's a building here. The Empress is totally like Earth Mama, Bohemian Mama, you know? She creates. Being creative within the home. Projects not going, or your passion projects not going as fast within the home or having to do with the home, but you're leaving the troubles behind and you're moving to a new place, you know, whether that be with your creative projects, because the sun is about creative projects, okay, and she's about creation as well. So an organization that creates something, maybe not moving forward as much. Maybe you're starting your home business and it's getting off to a little bit of a slow start. This is your most personal house, okay? Now, out in the world, how people are looking at you, how you're being seen in the world, in terms of your reputation and what you do for others or what you do as a career. I see the dog here. So there's loyalty, there's friendship here. You might meet a new friend at work. The world is about completing the cycle. It's also about world travel. So your job could have to do with traveling. That might be where the lucky breaks come in, where you get to travel more and you always wanted to. Excuse me. The Four of Swords, also having to do with the home, but it's the rest. It's resting. It's recuperating. So you might have just completed a major project that you've been very loyal to and that's been entrusted to you, and you are now taking a break and looking out at what comes next. Maybe you're retiring, and you've been very faithful, and now it's time to complete this and take a rest and look forward to new things. Look out in the horizon. The moon is also about our own, like, protection, right? It's about what we defend, what we hold dear, what we nurture and care for. It represents our mother. So it can be looking to kind of nurture something new, protect what we already have accomplished. Being opposite the sun, it's a eclipse, right? It's that energy of a full moon, actually, is what I'm thinking. Because will it be a new moon here? So there's a new start in career. There is a new start in career that's coming through because the sun is below the moon, okay? And so we can't see the moon, so we don't know what's coming yet. But you know that you're looking out to the horizon. You're looking for new things. You may meet a new friend at the next step in life, whether you're retiring and going to a community home or doing some traveling after, like in your camper after you're retired, or, fit it where it needs to fit. But there is some sort of kind of loyalty or trust in having faith in the universe that this cycle has ended and now you're looking forward to new cycles and looking forward to kind of what else to nurture in your life, what else to become inspired by. Okay, now the fifth house. Neptune in the fifth, Knight of Cups, Eight of Swords, the Hierophant, the Path. Excuse me, the Garden, not the Path. We had the Path over here. The Garden. They look so similar, those cards. The South Node in the 11th house. The Devil. The Four of Cups. The Seven of Rods. And the House. Okay, so in the fifth house, there is some sort of public thing that's going to happen. A meeting that is more formalized. This could be a tradition. It could be a party that is encompassed by a tradition. So it can be a wedding. It can be a first communion. It can be a baptism. It can be bar mitzvah. It can be a lot of things. You might feel like there's some formalities to it. There's some rules to it. It's a family. It could be a family thing. But it's coming in your fifth house of leisure and romance and art and having fun. And you might feel like this, for whatever reason, you might feel kind of stuck going to this, or you might feel like you're kind of stuck with, mentally trapped within this situation where you'd rather go off and do something else that's more true to, like, a little, somebody's being more rigid and kind of planning something and making sure that it's a certain way, and you're feeling stuck and obligated to follow their leadership, okay? And it seems like you would rather have a little more of a leisurely, free and flowing kind of event. And there's this very, because we have the Knight of Cups and Neptune influence. Neptune is just no boundaries, right? You don't want fences. You don't want rules. Everything is totally possible. There's no constraints with Neptune, and it's all fun and loving and flowing until it gets a little bit obsessive, right? It can be kind of that dark and obsessive. Not as much as like Pluto and Scorpio, but it can be like getting stuck in that watery realm and not really knowing what's real anymore, right? But it seems like you're taking action to kind of have fun, and you want to express yourself freely with the Knight of Cups. And it seems like your hands are tied by how things are being told they're going to be. It could be with an art form as well, like there's some class you're taking and you love art and you want to do art, but they're making you go through all of the mundane, like practical, like techniques, and it's very boring to you or restrictive to you, and you'd like to express yourself more freely and just be able to do what you want to do. So there's this push-pull here with that kind of energy. On the opposite end of things, in your friendship house, there's somebody you consider your own tribe or your family or your part of your private life, right? Or something private, and you'll have to defend yourself in some way, shape, or form about what you care about and what's important to you with the Seven of Rods. It seems here there's some kind of dissatisfaction or stagnancy that's been going on, and I see stagnancy here with the you're emotionally kind of like feeling like with the Four of Cups, or not seeing that there's like some kind of sparkly new thing over here because you're so bored that with the status quo that you're just over it. So there's this element of feeling trapped with the Eight of Swords down at the opposite end, and there's this feeling of just being kind of over it with the Four of Cups. It seems like you might be over defending yourself to your family about what you want to do, or a friend even, because it is in the house of friends and associations. So you might feel like you're constantly having to defend yourself at this family gathering from somebody in the family or a friend of the family, and you've kind of gotten so over dealing with them, but you feel obligated to go. The Devil is also a restrictive kind of Saturnian energy, so it's very, you must go, and it's kind of got that chained to the, you might have family that's just like, you are going, and that's that, and don't say a damn word about it. And with the authority of the Devil being Capricorn, and that's our authority, right, out there in the world, we also have the spiritual teacher and authoritarian. So this guy, the Hierophant, he says what goes, right? He's the leader of the pack. He tells you how to do it. This is how we do it. It's tradition. This is also tradition as well, but it's dogma that's constraining and draining, and there's no room for change, right? This guy, we do things a certain way because it works for us. We do certain things for a certain way because we're just stuck in that energy and we can't get out of it, right? There's something here about wanting to make a change with how tradition is being expressed, feeling trapped in your mental head space about it, and feeling bored with the status quo of how things have been. There's an almost escapism through the imagination, so not having to deal with the situation at hand, wanting to be creative. Maybe your family is very traditional and they want you to just do what they want you to do for a living, and you don't want to follow in the shoes of everybody else. You have your own ideas of what you want to do, or you might not know exactly what it is, but you do know you don't want to do what they're doing. The South Node is what we're getting away from, right? So this is the future. 11th house, Aquarius, is the future. It's forward movement. Now we have tradition in terms of kind of the obligatory side of it. You're bound and pacted to do something, right? And then we have this, we do it because it works and we've always done it, and it creates community and a family or a community, and we feel connected to God or source together through this experience or this tradition. It seems like you're breaking you're becoming the rebel, and you're not doing things the same way, and you're going about it. You're moving away from feeling restricted with this. You're remembering how things made you feel, how they make you feel now. You're reconsidering everything. Your religion maybe could be a big part of this. And your family is not very happy about it. And you are defending yourself constantly. So this could be one of the struggles within the year. Maybe mom and dad at home don't like tarot. Maybe you want to be a Protestant and they're Catholic. Maybe it's any of the, you mix it up. You put where A plus B equals C, okay? But family is coming into play in terms of your ideas, your innovations, your future forward thinking is not adding up to their traditions, and they're feeling like kind of cracking down authority and being restrictive on you. Okay. Now we're in the 6th house. North Node, the Fool, the Emperor, the 5 of Rods, and the Child. You're going to get a new job this year. It'll be competitive. You might be the leader. You might have some managerial. It's totally new. It's the future. It's forward moving. We've got the North Node here. You are destined to do this. You are going in a new direction. And it's future forward. And it's your purpose. It might have to be related to your purpose, which might have to do with whatever is going on here. This talent that from your family that you've picked up. Now it's definitely new because I have the Child, which speaks of new beginnings. I have the Fool in the same sector, the same house over here, which is new beginnings as well. And we have the Uranus energy, which is showing up in your 1st house. I think that you're going to take a risk and take a new job in a new field or some kind of new environment that's going to be the one that's going to teach you the new thing. If you haven't learned it from your history of your family line, you'll find out that later on, after you've kind of established yourself with this job and found out that you have this talent, that your great uncle used to do the same thing and he was really good at it. You will become a leader in this at some point. Be careful with authority because I do have the 5 of Rods next to the Emperor, so we don't want to be starting something new and starting fighting with authority already. But this can literally just be competition. And there might be a lot of competition to become a manager or a leader at this job or this career. Okay? So you want to make sure that you're listening to the 8th house about with leadership and great power and yada yada. All that stuff I said before, you can rewind it. Just make sure that that's kind of, you're keeping an eye on your temper, you're keeping an eye on how competitive you are and how far you're willing to go for things. You're the newbie, so just kind of put your toes in the waters. No more preachy crap. Let's move on. So yeah, full-time job, day-to-day life. You'll be more physically active in your day-to-day life. Your job could be more physical. 12th house, Saturn. The Ace of Cups. 7 of Wands. The Page of Rods. And the Book. Subconscious or metaphysical things could be coming up within your consciousness. Secrets will be revealed about a hidden enemy, potentially. And I'm not saying that to be worried. We all have our hidden enemies. You know, those people that like to be nice to our face and talk crap behind our backs. That could be also the friend that or the family member that's caused some problems and you realize like who's really on your side and who's not. That's a blessing, not a curse, believe me. And Saturn being here as well speaks of that restriction, right? You might feel like you need to get more realistic about how you are spiritually, or you need to formulate a spiritual practice of some kind and make it like solid, or get more into the tradition of your family. You might be feeling like the authority is really pushing you to do that. But there is this new beginning. There is this new blossoming lovely kind of spark of, it's just like a little blessing that comes into your life from spirit, because it's in the spirit house, right? And it is a card of spirit giving us a blessing, a divine blessing. So you get excited about it. There's something here about the Seven of Wands of having to defend. There might be something, a quarrel or debate within the family about the Bible or the Quran or something, and you get very excited about what you believe and what you know,